So you've just brought a new kitten home. First of all, congratulations! You've got so much fun and so many purrs ahead of you. But before we get into all the cute stuff, we need to talk about some absolutely essential rules. Because honestly, for the first 6 months, knowing this stuff can literally save your kitten's life. So let's dive right in.
This quote right here gets to the heart of everything we're about to cover. You really have to reset your brain. You might think you know cats, but kittens are a whole different ballgame. An adult cat might shrug off a missed meal or a little tummy ache, but for a kitten, that same exact issue can become a full-blown emergency in just a few hours. The stakes are just that high.
And here's exactly why they're so vulnerable. Their tiny little bodies have basically zero reserves. No extra fat, no extra fluids. They can't regulate their body temperature very well, they dehydrate in the blink of an eye, and their immune systems are just getting started. It means we have to be their bodyguard, their chef, and their personal life support system all rolled into one. So what's the #1 danger to your new kitten? You might be thinking of some kind of illness, right? Nope. The biggest, most immediate threat is your own home. Our first job is to build them a little fortress. And it all starts with what is, without a doubt, the single most important safety rule of all. Just look at this list for a second. These aren't crazy, exotic dangers. They're everyday things we never think about. But for a tiny, curious kitten, a recliner is a crushing trap. A warm dryer is an inviting and deadly place for a nap. And the floor right under your feet is a total blind spot. These are the heartbreaking, completely preventable accidents that we have to avoid at all costs.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth do you protect a 2-pound creature that moves like lightning and has absolutely zero sense of self-preservation in a house built for giants? And here it is. This is the answer. And I want to be clear, this isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's a non-negotiable rule. Find a single room, like a bathroom or a spare bedroom, that you can make 100% safe. Whenever you're not sitting on the floor with your eyes directly on that kitten, they are in this room, with the door closed. No exceptions.
And the good news is, setting up this little kitten headquarters is really simple. You just want to create a safe, predictable space for them. Pro tip right here, see how it says to put the food and water on the opposite side of the room from the litter box? Cats are naturally clean, and they hate eating near their toilet. So doing this one small thing makes their little safe room that much more comfortable for them.
Now, let's just address the elephant in the room. You're going to feel guilty. You're going to think you're being mean by locking them in a room, but you have to push past that feeling because you're not restricting them, you're protecting them. You are keeping them alive until they're big enough and coordinated enough, usually around 4 or 5 months old, to handle the whole house safely.
Okay, so you've built the fortress. Their environment is safe. The next critical piece of the puzzle is fuel. Kittens grow at a mind-blowing rate, and what you feed them is everything. And this brings us to one of the most common and most dangerous myths in kitten care. Let me be perfectly clear about this. For a kitten, wet food is not a treat. It is their primary life source. Dry food or kibble just doesn't have the moisture they desperately need to stay hydrated. Plus, their stomachs are so tiny, they literally can't eat enough kibble to get the calories they need to grow properly. This chart really spells it out, doesn't it? Until they are at least 1 year old, the huge majority of their diet needs to be high-quality, wet food. Think of dry food as a fun snack, something you put in a puzzle toy to keep them busy. It's for enrichment, it is not for nutrition. Their main meals must be wet food, period. And if you need any more proof, just read this. This is from someone who works in rescue. They were seeing kittens get returned because the owners thought they were sick when all they were was essentially malnourished. The cure wasn't some fancy vet visit or expensive medicine. It was just a can of wet food. Getting this one thing right can save you and your kitten so much stress and heartbreak. All right, we've got physical safety, we've got nutrition. Let's quickly touch on 2 other basics that are just as important for your kitten's health. So this is another one of those rules with absolutely zero wiggle room. Kittens, they explore the entire world with their mouths. That includes tasting their litter. And if they swallow clumping litter, it can form a cement-like ball in their tiny intestines, creating a blockage that is almost always fatal. It's just not worth the risk. Stick with non-clumping litter, like pellets made from paper or wood, until they're at least 6 months old. Okay, let's talk about diarrhea. It's super common in kittens, but it can also be very dangerous because it dehydrates them so fast. Now here's the crucial distinction. If your kitten has diarrhea, but is still eating like a champ and playing like a maniac, you should call your vet. They might walk you through a step-by-step process at home. But And this is a huge but. This only applies to a kitten that is otherwise bright, active, and totally normal. Which brings us to the most urgent section of this entire guide. We've talked about all the ways to prevent problems, but you also have to know how to spot a real drop everything and go to the emergency vet situation. So, what are the absolute red flags?
This story about a little kitten named Sunny just shows you how terrifyingly fast things can go downhill. Notice the words slightly less energetic in the morning. That's all. By the afternoon, it was a life-or-death crisis. With kittens, you never ever have the luxury of a wait-and-see approach.
Okay, this slide right here is your action plan. I would honestly take a picture of this with your phone right now. These are the signs that mean you have an emergency. Notice the word "and" on that first one. Diarrhea plus not eating. That's an emergency. A truly lethargic kitten, I'm talking zero interest in playing, even with their favorite toy. That's an emergency. And things like pale gums or being cold to the touch, those aren't symptoms you mull over. Those are symptoms that mean you get in the car and go to the vet now.
And to help you catch problems early, here are 2 super simple checks you should just make part of your daily routine. First, gently lift their upper lip. Their gum should be a nice, healthy, bubblegum pink, not pale, not white. Second, gently pinch the skin at the scruff of their neck. It should snap right back down instantly. If it stays up in a little tent or goes down slowly, they're dehydrated. These 2 checks take less than a minute, and they could absolutely save your kitten's life.
So if you only take one single thing away from all of this, please let it be this. A kitten has 2 jobs, eating and playing. When they stop doing both of those jobs, they are telling you they are in crisis. The clock is ticking, and that clock is measured in hours, not days.
At the end of the day, this tiny, amazing, fragile little life depends completely on you, on your knowledge and on your guts to act fast when something seems wrong. Being a great kitten parent isn't just about cuddles and toys, it's about being their fierce protector, their #1 advocate.